everybody, welcome back to my channel. You're gonna have to excuse the mess. The hair is a mess. I just took the dog on a 2-mile walk. I don't have any makeup on. I am literally stealing what itty bitty bit of time, I can't even see you now, what itty bitty bit of time everybody ran outside because the weather is nice. They literally ran out and I'm like, you know what, while they're out I'm gonna do this because I've been meaning to do this for a couple days. So what I want to do is I want to talk about how our budget's changed. The last video I uploaded was our March 15th budget with me, and if you don't know, I filmed them a week in advance, and that one in particular I had filmed on March 4th. And between the 4th and when that went live on the 13th, a lot of things had happened. Namely, we're all in isolation. That aside, I wanted to discuss what we did leading up to going into isolation and what we are doing now. And I'm sorry if you can hear any thudding. My husband is out right outside working. Like I said, I'm locked in my bedroom and he's right outside the bedroom working in the yard. So first of all, if you follow me on Instagram, and please do, if you're interested in keeping up with our budgets, please follow me on Instagram. I am trying to post over there more than it's just the way it is now. It's so much easier for me to upload something to Instagram right now than to try to wait on our cruddy internet to upload a video. Every time I would film a video, part of the reason I would film it in advance is that I would film the video, edit the video, and then upload it to YouTube when my kids were at dance class, because if I try to upload it at home, it would take 5-6 hours to upload, whereas if I use the dance studio's Wi-Fi, it's uploaded in like 10 minutes. So I can't do that anymore. And then we're all hogging bandwidth, and I kid you not, it took us 2 days to stream Star Wars A New Hope from Disney Plus. 2 days. That's how bad our internet is here, and now that everybody else is home, it's really bad. And again, I apologize if you can hear them. Like the week of the 9th leading up into this, I knew, I listened to the news. My son would come home talking about how there was this virus going around and that his academic decathlon trip to States had been canceled. And there were just some things going on that we knew that this was coming. I really didn't have plans to do anything. Like, I was still doing it as we normally would do. The 11th came, that Wednesday. I started seeing some local posts that were like, stores are wiped out of hand sanitizer and hand soap. And then when I went in to volunteer on the 12th, because I volunteer at the elementary school, I went in to volunteer and they're like, oh yeah, so such and such a store is out of cleaner and out of Clorox wipes. And I'm like, this is getting serious. And when I went to go pick up my daughter for her dance class, because I pick them up, it's right after school, she said she didn't really feel good. And she had been complaining about, earaches all week, and that's a different story. But I figured she had an ear infection. We'll skip dance. Well, it was actually tumbling that night. So, multiple tumbles through the studio was not going to do her any good. If her ears hurt, she would just have massive headache when we got home. So I was like, let's get you some stuff. Let's go get some of our essentials for the month, because, I'm hearing that this is getting bad. Little did I know, there was like almost nothing. Like I said, I thought my daughter was sick, had an ear infection or whatever. We went to the doctor's on the 13th. It wasn't an ear infection. It was ear pressure, which has been normal for her. It went away a bit after she got her adenoids taken out, but it has started up again. And when I went to go pick up the boys, that's when I knew things were a little bit different. Like, we were in La La Land all day. I was worried about her, trying to get some stuff done, trying to prep for the weekend, and just kind of taking the day as it came. And I didn't know until I'm literally picking up my boys that the governor closed down schools for 2 weeks. And while we're downtown and my husband is messaging me stuff as I'm waiting in the parking lot, that's when I was like, okay, this is getting serious. It was payday. Let's go get food. I didn't have a list. We just went for it. I probably overspent. Actually, I did overspend. But if you've been following me on Instagram, we got enough food for 2, and now we did a small supply pickup, so 3 weeks. And we're going through that slowly. Like I said, we've been down for supply pickups. At the time, my allergy shots were still going on, and we had other appointments I knew were coming up. Some of those have been canceled. Like, therapy appointments are still going. I had other shots that I needed to get that were canceled. My son's ortho appointments were canceled. He was finally going to get his braces off, and they were canceled. So I don't know when he's going to get his braces off as of now. We live in an 1,800 square foot, 1-story ranch house. And so, there's no separate room for our office. My desk is in the dining room. It's like an open floor plan, except for the bedrooms. My office is in like the dining room. And his office is now the bar between the dining room and the kitchen. And so it's interesting how we're having to manage, but we're making do. Pennsylvania schools are closed for an additional week, so now 3 weeks total, and I honestly think it's going to be a lot more. I've been watching the numbers rise in our state. I think it's going to be a lot more. As these days have gone on, I've tried to think about how we're going to do with our budget. Like, obviously I've said I've overspent in some categories, so I need to reevaluate those for the month. But then how are we going to proceed forward with our debt repayment? And so there's a couple things that we're going to change for a little bit. So that's kind of what I wanted to get into today and update you all on today. So I'm going to flip this down. We're going to go over to the bed because that's where the best light is with the window. So let's open to March. Okay. So this is what you guys saw initially. And this is not really valid anymore. I have a note here that I need to add $10. Actually, it's going to be $11 after tax to my Chase in April for Kindle Unlimited. The library is closed, and I realized we shouldn't be in open places, but this was before like every single open place was closed. Like, school was closed on Friday and Saturday. I'm like, okay, we can go to the library for part of this and get some books real quick. And then Saturday they closed, so yeah. But we got Kindle Unlimited. I would much rather pay for this than, pay for being sick. So this is what it initially was. We were going to do all, you saw this setup, and we were going to put the rest to the clarinet. What I did was I printed off, this is why I love having it as a printable workbook, because I can just print off another page and redo it. So our income was more than I had estimated. Hubs got a raise, and I also made more than I had thought. So yay. And then what we moved over to pay off Kohl's. So our estimated income was more. These are sinking funds. These are not changing. There's nothing I'm doing about these. And these were already scheduled before, we really started to reevaluate our budget. But from here on out, house has to stay the same. This is a non-negotiable. This is, after the clarinet, our snowball. And then there's these two. So some things I can do, for instance, is I can decrease Nelnet to the minimums, which would be 75 and 217. If you saw the budget with me, I don't want to, because I would rather it cover interest costs. There he goes again. But if I absolutely have to, I will. So then up here we have septic. I already took this out in cash, so I can't change that. Allowance, hair, miscellaneous, those I already took out in cash. I can't change them. Food, I'm estimating another 50 more, simply because I've overspent already. And same with household. And a lot of this is not because I went overboard. It's because that when I did go shopping, the items that we usually get were not available at the time. Like, toilet paper was completely wiped out. I usually get the Target brand, and I couldn't get the Target brand. I had to get Charmin name brand. And it snowballed from there. And same thing with food. I usually get family packs of meat, and that will like sustain us for a bit, for about a week or so. And I couldn't do that. All the family packs were sold out. I was lucky, and I had heard stores, multiple stores where we are, were sold out. So I was lucky to find like 1 pound packs. So I wound up spending more. I'll show you how much more in a bit. And pet, I'm leaving at 160. I mentioned this before. We got our Chewy order in February, so the next one will come in April. So this is a light Chewy month, but the overage will go into next month. And then in May, we get her medication again. So fuel, this is a wonderful one. I lowered it to 150, and you'll see why in a minute. I've spent barely over 40. To be honest, that's how little we've gone places now, and we're halfway through our budget month. Therapy, I budgeted 90. I'm going to leave it at 90, but this may come down to 60. Like I said, they're still currently open. Our therapist doesn't know how much longer they will be open, simply because they don't know when, they are technically medically related, but he doesn't know how much longer they'll be able to be open. Dance. At the time that I did this, which is why it's in pencil, so I viewed this as, I signed a contract for 9 monthly payments of this amount. Well, she had since sent out a message saying that the tuition schedule is still to be determined, but they will adjust it to what's fair, and they're going to start Zoom classes, which I thought was really interesting. And then Disney for band, he had already said to continue as normal. They're going for now, because they're going in November. They're planning on going in November, to continue as normal, and that if there's any hardship, you can just hold off. Well, there's not really hardship currently, but there is a fundraiser balance sitting in there, and so I'm going to use part of that and then only pay 50. My license renewal, I am leaving as of now. They're closed. I might be able to get like a temporary extension online. So, and I'm going to have to pay for, the renewal eventually anyways, so that is staying. But we were able to reduce this a bit. And I will get to what these colors mean in a minute. So our income, what we actually got, minus what we put away for sinking funds, there's that much remaining, minus what I'm estimating we're going to pay on bills, leaves that much remaining, minus cash envelopes and my estimates for food and household, that much remaining, minus this debit category right here, leaves 872, minus this other spending, again, I'll get to that in a minute, leaves 710.32 estimated as of now that's going to savings. We're going to hold off on the clarinet, paying that off. I can just easily make monthly payments on that lease for now. And they're not even open anyways, to be honest. They're technically considered non-essential, so I can't even go in there and pay it off. On top of this, this is not what our account balance is. We have more in our bank for a reason. I don't particularly like following Dave Ramsey's, you have to have $1,000 emergency fund while you are paying off debt. So if you watched our budget with me video, I based this amount off of after our tax filings. We had some miscellaneous income. The trucks are going by. We had some miscellaneous income, and we were waiting on how much we owed in taxes on that. And it turned out that, federal, we still got a refund because of child credits. State, we owed an extra $1. We usually owe $3, we owed $4. And local, we always break even, but we owed $12. So we took, the $12 from how much miscellaneous we had made, and took $610 of it and paid off our Kohl's card. I'm sorry if you can hear my kids. They're literally right outside my window right now. But when we got our federal refund back, we did not spend any of it. So we still have our federal refund. We have our sinking funds. We are going to have this set aside. We have money. I don't do, zero. There he goes again. We don't do, makes it hard to think. We don't do zero account balance budgeting. There is still money in there. So this is our currently updated budget. The colors here correspond to this beautiful thing. I do not have my cash envelopes with me. I'm using them to hold all the receipts, but they basically show the same story as this. So food, miscellaneous, pet, household fuel, and so on and so forth. So you can see here a prescription, my inhalers came from a sinking fund, and so on and so forth. So those are what those colors correspond to. So food, I have that we're going to spend approximately $750. We've already spent $554. I can make $200 with what we have left in the house work. Household, $210. We've already spent $205. Yeah, I really can't see us needing anything until next month, but then whether or not things will be available next month is another issue. And then pet, $160. We already spent $98 of it between a dog run and some treats, so that's $60 that'll roll into next month. Therapy is its own color. I don't put that on here. Fuel, I'm budgeting $150. We spent $41.15. I've only filled up, well, one was a really small, one was a like top it off, and then we're half tank, and then like just top it off. And then down here, this yellow is this yellow, $162.33. So, you know, we need ink, paper, and some workbooks because, you know, they're home and they still need to keep up with schoolwork. And then, you know, we ate out. That was the day where it was like, okay, I guess we're getting groceries. Let's go. That is how we have reevaluated our budget. And now my oldest is out there playing piano. Great. This is what it's like when you live in a one-story with 5 people. So this is, you know, how we have kind of reevaluated our budget. I am going to suggest that you do the same if you haven't yet. We are paid monthly, so I could afford that little bit of leeway in between when we got paid and when I was like, okay, what are we really going to do with this now? I'm sure if you're paid weekly or bi-weekly, you've already had to go through and do this. I do suggest you save money. I do suggest you kind of put your payments on pause for the moment. The last thing I want to say is that, you know, to anyone that if you've liked, subscribed, purchased the workbook that I have up on Etsy, thank you so much for your support. I am trying to keep up to date with this for you guys, even though it's hard here. I get that it's hard for you guys as well, and I'm trying to work through it. My hope is that, you know, with every purchase you guys make, it's able to help you guys work on your budget and help break things down for you and help you guys get through your finances the same way that it's helping us. To everyone watching, thank you. If you're the essential workers, thank you very much. You have no idea what it means to asthmatics like me, that you guys are out there on the front line trying to deal with this. If you're at home, please stay home and do your part. Please, please, please stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and kiss the ones you love. Until next time, bye. Okay, so I'm cleaning up my mess back here, and look what fell out. My envelopes. So real quick, I keep receipts in here, obviously, and then I cut the tops off, but then on the back, I'm keeping track of how much is left. Now this is with a 700, not a 750, but still, it's nice to see how much is left. I didn't put the Chewy here yet. That one's not updated. I'm sorry if you can hear him playing piano. And we overspent, so. These are available in my Etsy shop if you're interested. Same thing with the binder, but yeah, I'm using them.